For with industry assistance and then the roadblock that comes up all the time is Cadbury, and it makes life difficult for the government. Then you look at welfare reform, and we opened with a couple of examples of where they might be headed on that. Then all roads lead back to the parental leave scheme, and that again becomes a roadblock and just makes it that much harder for Joe Hockey to prosecute his case. The question was again put to Tony Abbott in the Parliament this week, and he was just as resolute as ever. Here he is.
Given the revelation that the Commission of Audit has called on the government to dump its excessive gold-plated paid parental leave scheme, will the Prime Minister now abandon his signature policy?
No, I won't. No, I won't. This is a policy that the Coalition took to the 2010 election. This is a policy which the Coalition expounded and defended throughout the last term of Parliament. This is a policy, Madam Speaker, whose time has come.
I said that I didn't have it before the election and after the election, that I did not have a problem with the proposed paid parental leave scheme if we have a strong economy.
And a strong economy is
to me, stronger than what it is now.
So its time hasn't arrived. Look, would a few heads have dropped in the Parliament, Nikki, when Tony Abbott was so firm?
Look, I can't find a single member of the Coalition backbench who will say privately that they support this scheme in its present form. And I've done a fair bit of ringing around on this. So, but I think what they're hoping is that the Greens will save Abbott from himself and save them by, yes, agreeing to some form of scheme, but nowhere near as generous as the one that Abbott is proposing now. I mean,
but this is the problem. If you cut from a $150,000 cap to $100,000, you don't save any money. I mean, it's a sort of rounding error. It might look nice symbolically, but it means nothing. It's still an extraordinarily expensive scheme.
But he can't. He cannot back away from this. This is his signature scheme. This is the one. Remember, this is the one that he was going to be forgiven for. Rather than actually talking to anybody about it before he came up with it. This is absolutely genuine Tony Abbott. And if he backs down
he won't back down.
He won't back down, but if the Greens change it, is he going to say, well, I'll put it up again and have it as a double dissolution measure?
He won't back down unless he's forced to back down.
So.
With polling figures, anything like polling figures now, there is going to be no double dissolution in the life of this Parliament.
There you go. So he will cop it. He will say, you know, well, I will come back to it in another Parliament, or who knows. But
I will devote my life to this, but I am going to make sure that women on high salaries are going to get a lot more money than women on low salaries when they have babies. But it's a terrific principle.
But you do accept every time that Joe Hockey talks about, and now Kevin Andrews will be talking about changes to welfare, that this will just come up
all the time.
As one MP said to me, and I agree with Nikki, I'm yet to find an MP who supports this privately. One MP said to me this week, you know, well, how does this look? We're coming out saying end of the age of entitlement, and then one of the first things we do is do a deal with the Greens to introduce a massive new entitlement program.
Except it will be pared down. You know, it's got to be pared down. It won't be in the form that it is now.
I'm not sure that's right, though.
You know, one solution would be
the Greens will insist on it, and the Coalition will have no option but to accept it if they want a scheme.
But the only change the Greens want is that shifting from 150 to 100, which is, you know, it might sound good, but they haven't actually requested any other changes. So it's,
well,
you know,
we'll see when they get to the negotiation stages. But it will save money, and the optics of it will be a lot better now, because the big thing that is against this scheme at the moment is the overt generosity of it.
Yep. Where's the legislation? I mean, can't we have a bill? Can't we get something in front of Parliament? Can't we have a debate about this? There's no legislation in front of Parliament. They're not doing anything except howling at one another.
Well, there were some great speeches in response to the Governor-General's address from 12 months previous.
Terrific, terrific.
All right, well, the personality